Well, let me try to get my ducks in a row here. I do better not by sitting down and preparing a something to say on video. It's rather, I was always spontaneous. I couldn't go back and retell a joke like some people can uh, hear a joke and retell it, and I could never do that. It had to be, I don't know why, I was just spontaneous on things like that. So I'm going to do the best I can here by memory. And again, I'm going to put this up so my video is not bumping around. I don't have any, it's a itty bitty phone. I've got another one, but Terry won't help me. I laugh because, yeah, anyway, he gave me the phone and I haven't been able to get it fixed so I can get on it yet. It's a nice one. Anyway, trying to joke here to get it started, I suppose. I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, and I'm the legal heir right now. Not tomorrow, now, whether I'm ever unkidnapped and brought back and I don't know the proper word at the moment to use. Reinstated. I shouldn't have been uninstated. You get the drift. My father never married Wallace Warfield Simpson, and I'm going to show a few photos here. By the way, I'm showing Hustler magazine because Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia. I usually say this, by a program shooter. And I was writing about mind control in a book called MD A License to Kill. Later, I'm at Moonraker to show you how this has been pieced together. Apartments, when I'm doing the book and when Mr. Flint was shot. In nearby Lawrenceville, I lived in Marietta. And I knew of the Tesla files, and I'm just going to show those in a few minutes. I really don't have that much on it, just a sheet out of a book telling about it. But since way back then, 76, it was the Tesla files actually I was telling about that were stolen. And 1930, so it says, and it really, everyone should get in and try to check out, if you still can, the Tesla files, because it's not just about programming people. Some people want to call it the Manchurian Candidate, and it makes the programmed person sound like the killer. It's not. When they're programmed, they're puppets. They don't know and they can't change it, and that's hard to get through to people because they don't want it to happen to them. Well, guess what? It's a long time since all of this, and technology has advanced so much, and they control the media now, the Illuminati that kidnapped me. And I could go on and on, and I wanted to get down to some facts here, other than these facts I put up, and try not to skip around. Mr. Flint was shot. Well, I found out about my kidnapping in '83 when I was flown out to Mr. Flint's. He was shot. And he says on here that I know who was responsible for his shooting in Lawrenceville. And he helped me in that campaign. Now, this, when I started researching, I'm going to go ahead and do it this way for now, even if it doesn't come out so good. I did not know until after I was at Hustler magazine and turned loose with a car that Hustler paid for. Everything had been taken from me, my children, everything, because they almost killed me April Fool Day of '80. My children never knew the truth about it. So what happened, and I hope they're alive and well is what I hope, and I get to see them again. Anyway, this is what a church here set up. I was having to live on the Appalachian Trail up traveling north and a little south, and a little south. I laughed to get through it, but it was rough. Anyway, and I even had a man that followed me up. In fact, there was another one said similar things. And I remember where I was on the trail coming up. It was more than 3 miles, because it was 3 miles. It was 2 ways up on the trail on Mountain Pass Road. Mountain Pass Road curves, and it turns from Rainbow Forest Baptist Church They're the ones that sent this book up by Tex Mars. He's deceased, but he's written several. And there's another Mars, I think that's kin to him, that's written similar. But it's implantable biochips. This is what I was telling about. They've been chipping people, I know, since, King Ferdinand. Back then they can use it similar to hypnosis, and his wife were shot. I believe he was killed. I'm not sure she was. She was in the car, but anyway, it was a program shooter. So I'm going to leave it there, not get in because I'll run out of time on here. And anyway, this is Timothy McVeigh, who was programmed to take down the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. And he was put to death. And, he told people that I already knew because these were done in patterns, and that's what I've been telling about. There's a lot more that's been done that you don't know about, and you probably never will because these were deliberately done in patterns. He says here, Timothy does, that the U.S. Army implanted a computer chip in his buttocks. Well, you can put it in root canals is a good place. They usually do. So wherever your dentists are on this, telling somebody they're crazy if they knew, and I'm probably knocking some of this down. Anyway, the biochip is talking about this. And the name of this book, see, mine didn't get published. This was in about after 86, I don't know, about 90 or 94 when this was brought up to me. At least 94, yeah. Implantable biochips, and it's got Project Lucid, your global government in end times. And once I got into it, you can't discredit the timeline when they took my father down in 36 and lied about him, character assassination, and kidnapped me. And I was born in 39 and kidnapped in 41. George the Six is my uncle, and he's Elizabeth's father. So if it were true about what happened to my dad that they've told, the truth is he never married Wallace Simpson. She married a double. This is just one of them. None of them were my father. They used doubles back then, but they started this. My father wasn't a rebel, I don't guess. He just did the right thing. He wouldn't go along with the Illuminati, and he loved the people of Britain, okay? So that's all I'm going to say about this right at the moment, It's so sad that love has been given to this woman, Elizabeth, and that family that are fake and fraud and war criminals. The love that's poured out to them and to be taken advantage of. They're illegal. They're Illuminati that have kidnapped me, Rockefellers, Rothschilds that controls your bank. These people have been made the good guys. My father, if you notice, he didn't marry Wallace Simpson. Again, I'm going to say, so I'm getting to where I'm going, I hope, with this before it goes out. A double married Wallace. It was a takedown, my father, of character assassination rather than shooting him, although I just watched a video where they tried to kill him back then. So, and I'm pretty sure that was a program shooter. This is my Uncle George Elizabeth's father, who was illegal. My father was still the legal king. He had drawn up papers because they were forcing him out and telling all these lies using doubles. And he had papers drawn up that if he had an heir, the heir wouldn't be disinherited. I was born in 39, and I think because of my father and mother's age, they were pretty sure they were rid of my dad. Only here I come, and I'm born. And this is 1939, and when they say George the Sixth, the brother, is the good guy, and he didn't want the crown, that is a bunch of bull. This is where they're planning my kidnapping in 41, and Roosevelt, president, appointed Joe Kennedy, who is ambassador to England, 36, listen at the dates, till they kicked him out in 46. JFK, his son, flew in 39, the year I was born, year this was taken, and this gets into one big mess. I'm trying to get, 1939 right here it says. They're planning my kidnapping. So I'm going to, okay, now then, here's the thing. Political enemies, which is a bunch of crap. They never thought this would be put together, and I hope to God it comes before a court where perhaps God is over it and see what he has to say about it. If they want to argue with him. And the Duchess, well, she's illegal. She married a double, an imposter that died in 72, and my parents were still alive October the 20th of 86, as old as they were, and I wonder how much poverty they'd put my father in. They stole his everything, his daughter, his crown, his ability to help the British and do the right thing. Elizabeth sold everything out. She's not legal. I want to finish this, though, and then I'm going to have to quit because I'm being redundant trying to form a foundation so someone can put it together. Here it says, remember they kidnapped me in the spring of 41, dropped me off in Moulton, Alabama, and give me the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married a Childers. I still have to use the name. The mother was unwed, and it was a family of people who were hideous. There's no word for them. Poor, but not just poor, they were mean, sick people. Okay, this is the Duchess of, she's a war spy, American criminal. I know. It's early in the morning and it ticks me off. I start saying another word and I'm not allowed to use that. Okay, here we go. Trying to laugh it off. Here's Eleanor Roosevelt. Wow, you should read some stuff I found out about her about 3 months ago. Reading a autobiography, or I believe of her. Well, that would be or biography. Anyway, it connects her to what I've been putting up all these years on YouTube and Facebook, only finally connecting her. It's FDR that appointed Joe Kennedy ambassador to England specifically to control my father because he wouldn't follow their orders, and that's why they took him down. And the following was how the Illuminati and Sir Winston Churchill, the there, partnered with Eisenhower. You know, they've done all these things, and if you tried to describe it with a word that there's none to describe, well, somehow somebody come back and say, oh, that's filthy. No, filthy is what they did. And I want to revert to this right at the moment, real quick. I don't know, Kavanaugh, whether he did those things or not, okay? I know that they've slandered the man, and if he didn't, he's already gone. I mean, there are all these women and men and different races up there marching and all this with their signs. They sure didn't do this for me when my husband and I, with a letter from the FBI, all the stuff went to NOW. Was the beginning of the women's organization out on M Street. We went to everybody. Nobody did. There was none that didn't believe it. And Gloria Steinem, I want to get Gloria Steinem in on this. She's Jewish, excuse me. The Jews were a big part in kidnapping me and doing all this. And I know this is scooting around here. But I called her Mr. Flint when I was out there in 83. Gave me her phone number at Ms. Magazine, or her personal phone number, because I got through to her. I'm sure she knows about me. I had written, but she's Jewish. She's way up there she would have to be in the Illuminati herself. So I talked to her. They put me through. And I remember her, after I told her who I am, I didn't get into I'm Margaret Ann Windsor. I told her I was running for U.S. Congress to replace Congressman Larry McDonald, doctor, lawyer from Atlanta. And did she think she could help me? So I didn't get much further until she slammed the phone down and said, no, quite frankly. Okay, and that was that. So this is a feminist, and now you've gotten all this coming out now. I mean, all these women with the hashtags and all of them coming up there. Where in the were the press, Illuminati control press, they're going to tell about it old bitty me, the Queen of England, what they did to my father. Now they're jumping down Kavanaugh's face and criticizing him. You know, what if this man didn't do it? He's up there. Would you not be upset? I'm upset as heck. And if you think my being upset, that's what happens to people. They're emotional. That doesn't mean they can't do the right thing or make decisions. You take what's going on with that person. By the way, he's up there now, and he's a bit irate. Is that how they would describe him? I would describe him as doing what normal people would do under the circumstances. I really would. There's nothing wrong with this man. I think they're even showing Winston Churchill. No, maybe not. I don't know. A statue of him. Anyway, this is going to go off, and so I wanted to make some points here before it goes off. I showed Flip. This is my dad, and I see I'm going to have to. Georgia O'Keeffe, Claudia's George's sister, and that Claudia's my mom. The only person that ever married my father. This is a clean-cut, good man who's been destroyed, totally destroyed. Okay? Thank God for some people that hung in there with me and let me know all about it. This is the McCarthy period, which they talked about when I was out at Flint's. They had a lot of information out there. They're talking about here partial beam, mind control, and obviously I don't have the book that this came out of, and the Tesla files that I was writing about. I was trying to help people, too, before I found out about my kidnapping and real name, because I found out how they were chipping people and how they were killing them. They can create an illness or cure it with mind control. And now then, over the years since this happened, I was writing in 76, 78. Then you fast forward to 83 to going out in the campaign to replace Larry McDonald, and Larry Flynn had been shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Are you following me a little bit on it? And I was kidnapped and taken to Lawrence County, Alabama, Moulton. Twins, it gets into twins and all this. Now, so that I don't lose everybody, here's one more thing here I want to put up. This is a seal that was undone, and it wasn't, this was sealed, and this is total lies. If you ever get a hold of it, you'll see. Man, they must have had 4 or 5 people running around doing this and blaming it on a beautiful, decent man, my father, who was stripped of everything because he was good, wouldn't follow orders from the Mafia, Illuminati, Freemason, and head of the Freemason, almost, at least in England or the UK, and I don't know what else he's attached to, and if he hasn't died in the last couple of years. Elizabeth, I guess he's my uncle, or very close, just like he is to Elizabeth. He's a Windsor, and she's given him an apartment, or whatever. I don't know if it's how big or if it's a castle for him to live in. She works for the Illuminati. She's illegal, she's a war criminal, and now I'm going to show this first about, this is just a paper that wasn't supposed to be unsealed, you know? It's the Daily Mail. Well, I'm glad it wasn't sealed. It's a bunch of lies. How come they unsealed it? It was supposed to be sealed for 100 years. Okay? I mean, just a bunch of lies. So you can't believe it. Now then, I wanted to mention this. I was watching CNN early this morning. Excuse me.